New York City, 1882, is a place of shadows and suffocation. As the sun dips below the skyline of lower Manhattan, a different kind of darkness takes hold, one that smells of sulfur and rot. This is the world of the Gaslight era, a monopoly that has held humanity in a flickering, hazardous grip for over half a century. Walk down Broadway at dusk, and you don't feel safe. You feel watched by the dim, hissing flames inside glass globes that cast more shadow than light. These lights are alive. They consume oxygen, they leak poison, and occasionally they explode, turning tenements into infernos. Yet, they are the only option. The gas barons own the night, and they own the politicians, ruling the city with an iron grip that no one dares to challenge. No one except a 35-year-old inventor who is currently drowning in debt and public ridicule. Thomas Edison is not yet the Wizard of Menlo Park to the hardened financiers of Wall Street. He is a precarious gamble. He is proposing something that sounds like madness, a central grid that pumps invisible fire through copper veins buried under the streets to light up vacuum-sealed glass bulbs. The scientific community is laughing at him. British physicist John Tyndall has publicly declared that Edison's idea of subdividing electric light is an absolute ignis fatuus, a fool's fire. They say the physics simply doesn't work. The copper required would be too expensive, the voltage drop too severe. But the technical impossibility is nothing compared to the financial noose tightening around his neck. J.P. Morgan has poured nearly $500,000, a staggering fortune in today's money, into Edison's venture, and he is growing impatient. There are no returns. There is only a ripped-up street in lower Manhattan and a mountain of bills. Edison is fighting a war on two fronts, against the laws of physics and the titans of industry. The gas companies are not sitting idly by. They are running smear campaigns, warning the public that these electric wires will electrocute horses, burn down houses, and kill children in their sleep. Every step of this journey has been a nightmare of invention. It wasn't just the light bulb. Edison had to invent the entire system. He had to design the generators, the fuses, the sockets, and even the meter to bill customers, a device that didn't exist because the commodity it measured had never been sold before. He is exhausted. His hands are stained with carbon and grease, his eyes red from sleepless nights spent in the laboratory. He is not a clean, calm scientist. He is a desperate man in a dirty workshop trying to construct a reality that only he can see. He knows that if this central station fails, it isn't just a business bankruptcy. It is the end of his credibility. He will be remembered not as a genius, but as the man who burned J.P. Morgan's money on a magic trick that didn't work. The gaslights flicker overhead, mocking him, hissing their warning. The world is watching, waiting for the young upstart to fail so they can return to the comfortable, dim status quo. But Edison has already dug the trenches. He has laid the wires, and now he has to make them live. September 4th, 1882. The air inside 257 Pearl Street is hot enough to bake bread. It is a humid Monday afternoon, and the temperature in the dynamo room is soaring past 100 degrees. This is the belly of the beast. 4 stories of a gutted commercial warehouse have been reinforced with steel beams to hold the weight of the monster Edison has built. Down in the basement, stokers are shoveling coal into furnaces that roar like dragons, boiling water to drive the high-speed steam engines. The floor vibrates with a low, menacing thrum that rattles the teeth of everyone inside. Edison stands in the center of the chaos, his vest unbuttoned, sweat dripping from his nose onto his stiff collar. He looks at the 6 massive jumbo dynamos, named after P.T. Barnum's famous elephant, lined up like soldiers. Each one weighs 27 tons. They are terrifying feats of engineering, but they are also untamed animals. Just weeks ago, during a secret test run, these machines had rebelled. When connected in parallel, the governors that controlled the steam engines failed to synchronize. One engine would speed up, hogging the load, while the other slowed down, turning into a motor. The result was a terrifying oscillation, a mechanical hunting that caused the room to shake so violently that terrified engineers fled for their lives, convinced the building was about to collapse. Edison didn't run. He stayed diagnosed the problem, and rigged a complex mechanical linkage to force the governors to work together. But today is the first time he is trying it with the world watching. There is no safety net. If the governors fail again, the dynamos could tear themselves apart, sending shrapnel flying through the heart of the financial district. A catastrophic failure here would likely kill him and his top lieutenants. The clock on the wall ticks toward 3 p.m. The tension is physical, a heavy weight pressing on the chest. J.P. Morgan is sitting in his office at 23 Wall Street, waiting. The editors at the New York Times are waiting. They have their gas lamps ready, expecting the electric fad to fizzle out. Edison checks the pressure gauges one last time. He looks at his chief electrician, Francis Upton. There are no speeches, there is no applause, just a grim nod. The noise of the steam engines is deafening, a rhythmic pounding that sounds like a giant heart beating in panic. He steps toward the main switchboard. It's a crude affair by modern standards, exposed copper knife switches mounted on wood. To touch the wrong part is death. Edison's hand hovers over the lever. This is the precipice. Behind him lies the safety of the known world, the candle and the gas flame. Ahead lies a terrifying unknown. He takes a breath of the superheated, oily air. His heart hammers against his ribs. He grips the handle. The vibration of the machine travels up his arm. In this fraction of a second, Thomas Edison is entirely alone. He is gambling his fortune, his name, and the future of humanity on a copper connection. He pulls the switch.
The lever drops with a heavy mechanical clunk. For a heartbeat, there is absolutely nothing. No explosion, no sparks, just the continued roar of the steam engines and the terrifying suspicion that it has all been for nothing. The men in the room freeze, eyes darting to the gauges. Then it happens. A low hum begins to harmonize with the steam engines. The dynamos engage, biting into the magnetic fields, generating a force that has never been harnessed on this scale before. Blocks away, in the offices of the New York Times, a sudden miracle occurs. The dull, flickering gas jets are not needed. Instead, 52 carbon filament bulbs, shaped like teardrops, begin to glow. They don't sputter, they don't hiss. They burn with a steady, soft, unwavering incandescence. It is a light that feels impossible, clean, silent, and steady. At the Drexel Morgan & Co. building, J.P. Morgan looks up from his desk as his office is bathed in the same golden hue. He smiles. The gamble has paid off. Back at Pearl Street, the relief is so intense it feels like collapse. Edison steps back from the switchboard, his knees weak. The jumbos are holding. The governors are synchronized. The vibration in the floor settles into a steady, productive rhythm. They haven't just lit a room. They have powered a district. 1 square mile of New York City is now living in the future. The realization hits them slowly. The world outside those doors is now obsolete. The gas lamps that line the streets suddenly look like relics of the Dark Ages. The impact is immediate and seismic. The stock prices of gas companies begin to wobble as the news spreads. People flock to the district just to stare at the windows of the illuminated buildings. They are witnessing the birth of the modern era. This wasn't just about seeing in the dark. It was about the death of the limitations of nature. Night was no longer a time to sleep or hide. It was open for business, for life, for anything humanity wanted it to be. Today, we take it for granted. You flip a switch and the light comes on. You plug in your phone and it charges. But trace that wire in your wall back. Follow it through the substation, across the high-voltage transmission lines, back through the turbines, and deeper into history. It all leads back to that sweaty, terrified man in a hot room on Pearl Street, holding a copper lever and daring to believe that he could tame the lightning. That single minute, when the current first flowed, didn't just change the world, it created the one you are living in right now. The age of fire ended not with a bang, but with the quiet click of a switch, and the world has never been dark since.